So picture this. It's Thanksgiving and you're relaxing in your room alone because you don't really know most of the relatives visiting you anyway. And all of a sudden, Snow White and the 7 little break into your room. They all make a beeline into your most expensive stuff because why not? A Wii, an Xbox, and several expensive guitars are now in hands of snotty toddlers. Which wouldn't be so bad if they even knew how to use the freaking things. And instead, you've got kids pulling your game consoles out of the shelves with no regard for any chords that you've got. Kids furiously strumming out of your guitars. One of the strings even popped before eventually trying to beat each other over the head with them. I've been yelling at them this whole time, but as soon as I see that last part, I snatch a $300 guitar out of the kid's hand and ask him what the heck was he doing. And then he starts to bawl, and good God was it loud. Enter Entitled Parent Act 2, Scene 1. I'm getting mad already. What'd you do to make my little bookums cry? That's exactly how they sound too. He was about to yeet the heck out of my guitar and then crack the kid's head with it. I'm guessing she went completely deaf from her own kids crying because she didn't seem to have heard that last bit. Instead, she goes on about how I should let her kid play with and break my stuff because kids will be kids. Do you say that to me around my Switch? I tried to explain to her that these aren't toys and tried to explain how hard I work to be able to buy them. Again, she's completely deaf to it and literally tells me it's not her kid's problem before leaving. Exit Entitled Parent Act 3, Scene 1. So I did what any sensible person would do. I crowded all my stuff on my bed and sat next to it, guarding my newfound fortress with a BB gun, which was unbeknownst to them, completely empty and rolled up poster for the rest of the night. The end. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Oh, this angers me beyond belief. For recreational purposes, these are the spoiled little brats. I don't know how good it feels, okay? Because you can't actually do that in real life. But my little Clarence wants to play with your expensive gaming PC. Let him do it. Your PC needs a shower. If you guys couldn't tell what we're reacting to already, we're reacting to I'm not a Redditor, I don't know how to say these things, Entitled Parents. I don't need these right now. I love reading these things because I love to hate. Like, it makes me angry to my core. It makes me shook. And I noticed that this has been going around. I'm trying to find the tweet. I swear I got a tweet from one of you guys. I asked you, what would you like to see me react to? And you guys said this. And then I seen the videos recommended to me. So I was like, okay, let's do this. And then when I figured out what it was about, I was like, this is right up my alley. So yeah, hope you enjoy this, guys. You know how much I hate spoiled brats. So this is literally it's worse because we're talking about adults here that decided to have children, and then because they had children, you gotta suffer for it? Like, well, what planet does that make sense? I would like you to tell me. The people in the comments are loving it. They just want to express what would they do in the situation is the best part about it. Now everyone's just talking about guitars. Oh, what? She tried to take my disabled mother's wheelchair. I gotta hear about this one. So I was going to the supermarket with my mother, who has a disability where she can only stand but her legs give up and she can't walk. Okay, that's really sad. So she asked me to help her stand to get something I couldn't reach because I was a midget. When I was 13, okay, they were smaller, I get it. And then I could see behind her some brat playing with her wheelchair, and I told the kid, get off of that, it isn't yours. Which is what any sensible person would do, okay? And like the thing about it is that they're 13 years old, like pretty young. And even they know, right? And I pulled him off. The kid starts crying and the EM comes over saying, let my son play with your wheelchair. I just want to like put a face to them. They have to have just this voice. You let my son play with your wheelchair. Like, I just want to punch myself. It's a joke. It's a joke. I'm not hurting myself, okay? Like, I had to break out the standing desk for this one because it's like, I just want to freaking kick. I do. I want to kick. I need to be very physical with this because I need to lash out anger. Can't be sitting for this. Me. It isn't a toy you can't have your kid playing on it. Why not? You don't need it. My mother can't stand for much longer. Get your brat off of it. You greedy B-word. You don't even need it. She can stand and you were just some rude teenager that wants her to have it. What part do you not understand about what I just said? Getting a little angry here. Back away or I'm gonna get security. She was silent, but security was already here since an employee overheard the conversation and already got them because everyone else seems to be sensible. She was kicked out and that horrible experience ended. Moral of the story, don't be a B-word that steals disabled people's canes, walkers, or wheelchairs. If they have one, it's for a reason, not to play with as a toy. It's almost unbelievable. But you know what? There's just something about, like, you know, you always see that mother out there that is just letting their little devils, yeah, that's what they are, just roam around. Little gremlins they are. Not all of them, but you know, they're out there. I've seen them. I've worked, okay? If you guys watched my Walmart video, I seen a kid get on the conveyor belt and was on it. What am I supposed to do? Tell me. Like, I wish they would just give me the ruler. I wish they'd give me a ruler while I worked at Walmart. So I could just like kind of like, hey, get off. Get off. You know, I'm not trying to hurt nobody. I'm just saying that like a, you know, a little, you know, just Goose Frappa. Okay. Why do all entitled parents think that all wheelchairs belong to them? And why does this keep happening? Are you telling me there's more? Oh, okay. So I sort of read this one a little bit, but I really believe that this is true. Because, like, that's the thing with this, right? Like, you don't know if any of these are really true, but I choose to believe they are. Why? Because I've worked in retail, and I've seen them. I've seen them with my own eyes, man. It's not pretty, okay? It's not. And they need to stop existing. Just do better, okay? Like, I don't know. There needs to be a facility for these people. By the way, before we continue, it's not sponsored, but I just have to say that I really, really love this sweater. Okay, word to waifu, okay? I gotta give a quick shout out to the guy that I bought this from. He was really, really awesome. He owns this apparel. Okay, a few of you guys have asked me where I got this from. It's like seriously my favorite sweater right now. Super comfy. If you guys like waifu wear, check them out, waifuwear.com. That's all I'm gonna say. The guy was really, really amazing, and if you go to anime conventions, you'll probably see him there. All right, seriously, one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. I had to get that over with because I told him I would. Again, not sponsored. I literally paid for this. Although he did give me a free shirt, so that was like really awesome of him to do that. Anyway, moving on. So a few years back, my granddad, mom, and I decided to one day visit a local knockoff IKEA. It's similar to the actual place, but my granddad prefers the food there. Oh, so they actually serve food too. Okay. Never been to IKEA. I don't know. No, I've never been to IKEA, so I've heard they like have good meatballs. I don't know. That's what PewDiePie says anyway. I don't know. Or everyone else, really. Now, my granddad doesn't drive due to his age, but he was really adamant. He wanted to go on this trip, so he went with it and didn't think much about it. So at this fake IKEA, the car park system is a nightmare. It's a one-way system, so to get to the other side, you have to go only one way. Cutsies aren't allowed. So basically, they're one-way streets throughout the entire parking lot. I know exactly, because it sucks. Every time I go into a parking lot, I end up going the wrong way, and I get mad, all right? I don't even like driving, to be honest. I'm like an old man already. I don't even want to drive anywhere. The place was busy and the car was full, but we waited our turn and finally found a space. As we went to pull in, another driver who just came in the park decided to cut and pull in as well. Well, we met halfway, and although it didn't crash, thankfully, we may as well have by her actions. She signaled for us to move out by my granddad shook his head. So she probably gave this number. What do you want me to do to that wrist, huh? Give me that wrist, huh? She gave one of these. I'm sorry. He was there first, and he's the kind of man to stand his ground. God forbid you cross him. Entitled Grandpa. He spent his whole life running companies and firing people who weren't up to scratch. Oh, so he's used to be confrontational, I see. So although he's sweet as can be, he has that side lurking, so you don't want to mess with Grandpa. Well, this lady decides to get out of the car and ask him, okay, more like tell him, this is my space. There's the entitledness. By the way, entitled people in general are so horrible. Anyone that's worked anywhere knows this. Don't you know? You can't park here. I have a child. They do this dance too. I've seen it. I have a child. I decided to have kids. So you must give me priority. Look here, you piece of crap. Pregnant people should get priority, sure. Like, you can choose to be a gentleman on a train. I don't know if they do this everywhere, but when I went to Tokyo, like, there's signs that say, like, oh yeah, you should give your seat to priority people. Not everyone does it, though. It's just a nice, generous thing to do. But that doesn't mean you get to walk around feeling like you own something just because you happen to be pregnant. Sometimes you gotta stand. I'm sorry. I know. I wouldn't know. I'm a guy. But you can't just go around. Just like how senior citizens can't, you know, go around and be like, oh, well, I'm a senior citizen. Because he can literally say that. But he's not. Why? Because he actually is not an entitled grandpa. Okay, how many rants have I been on? My granddad. Well, that's dandy, but I was here first and it was my turn to take a space, so I'm not moving. She didn't like this. Entitled mother has left the chat. She stropped back into her car and sat waiting for him to move. He honestly probably would have if she hadn't had a sickening smug look on her face. Oh God. That's what gets me. the smug look. Alright, you guys know how I feel about spoiled brats and the smug looks. It's getting warm in here now. So instead, he pulled out his newspaper and opened it up fully and started reading. Mom and I exchanged confused looks, but went with it. A couple of minutes went by and there was a knock on the window. Lady had decided to visit us again. Granddad rolled down his window with a fake smile and asked, "How could I help?" We got a savage grandpa. I love him. I just want to give him a hug already. And after some incoherent shrieking that I can only assume was meant to be English, he gave her a grin and told her, "I'm retired, love. I can wait here all day for this space," and rolled up his window. And I like how this, like, in the big scope of things, like, it's not even worth it, but it is. Like, you know, we all have that side where we just like, I have to do this. I have to do this right now. It's not important, but it is important to me. You don't move from that spot, Grandpa. You stay there for as long as it takes. The angry mothers will not win. Well, she did not like this. She sent her 4-year-old child, that's freaking young, into the shop. How can she even, can 4-year-old children even like speak like that? She sent her 4-year-old child into the shop to get security on an 80-year-old man. He's 80. She stood in a typical Karen pose and waited. I don't know, but I would imagine Karen pose is definitely like, you know, can I speak to your manager? I understand that I have to speak to your manager here. I do not want to speak to your manager. Don't get it twisted. I hate it, but I get the jokes, okay? I'm not on their side, I promise. So she waited, and eventually security came out. He couldn't make out a word she was saying and asked us what had happened. We told him, and he just stood dumbfounded and then laughed. She was told to move and get another spot. After some rude gestures and words, old bugger, and lots of words. Oh, he should be in a home? Oh, how dare she? She moved her car and avoided us in the shop. Granddad got his macaroni and was happy. The best ending. Oh, I'm just here for macaroni. I like how they literally spent like probably an hour in the parking lot just so he can walk in there and get his macaroni. But you know what? I stand for Grandpa. I'm so glad he won that battle. He deserves it. You know, let the 80-year-old man have his macaroni. How come a lot of these posts are British? Nothing against them, just wondering. Actual Brit here. We just hate everyone until given a reason to do otherwise. Also, parents like that were raised by boomers and they will raise chavs. Okay, I don't get that, but maybe a lot of you guys do. I know a lot of people from UK watch. Well, let me tell you, it's not that much different in America. I can assure you. Okay, but we need a juicy one. We need a juicy one that really gets my blood flowing. This is the top voted one 19 hours ago. Entitled mom tries to deny her son his wish and tries to kill him because the books I got for him are satanic. Now, I feel like already I can relate to this, and I'll explain why after I read it or during it, whatever. Some backstory. I'm in a D&D group, Dungeons and Dragons, in case you guys don't know that, with a couple of friends from nearby, and one of the members of the group was a kid who was about 15 years old. He's a really sweet kid, likes helping other people out, and he's a big fan of Dungeons and Dragons. He also has cancer in both of his lungs, so already, like, it's super sad. Like, I feel like it's gonna make me mad, like, actual mad. So, like, the guy's just, like, the kid obviously loves Dungeons and Dragons, right? Nothing wrong with that. It's honestly, like, I've never played it or been into it myself, but it seems really fun, like, watching people play it. The mom is a WBC level rabbit, I don't know what that is. While the dad is just a sensible person who just tries to get him to be a good kid. When he's out of sight of his parents, he just does normal teen stuff. Because of his mom, the only books he was allowed to own were Christian books and Bibles. Yeah, see, this is where I could probably start relating. He joined our group mainly as a way to escape his home life and his mom. A couple of weeks ago, the cancer in his lungs started to get to him, so he was taken to a hospital by his parents. He contacted me about this a day after he was taken to the hospital, stating that he wanted a monster manual as his last wish, stating that he was tired of reading the same things. I bought him the book from Barnes & Noble, but considered that he's a dying teen, I got him Volvo's Guide to Monsters and I don't even know what that says. Mordecane? Okay, whatever. Tome of Foes stacked on top of that. So probably, you know, more stuff. He's so nice, buying, you know, him more than what he asked for. The next day, which was his birthday, it just didn't make matters worse. He was still in the hospital, so I brought him the books as a gift. After he blew out the candles, we had a cake and he started opening gifts. Mine was the first to be opened. Seeing what they were, he immediately got his humongous grin on his face and hugged me. Like, that is sweet. It's like really sweet. Meanwhile, his mom stared down at the books with a look of pure disgust, with her husband staring at her with this wary look in his eyes. She picks up one of the books and relights one of the candles and holds the book over to try to set it on fire in the middle of a hospital? I managed to stop her and demand, what are you doing? He asked me to get those books and I'm not gonna let you take them away. His mom simply stared me down and said something along the lines of those being sinful, satanic, and full of evil, that her son had no business with them. I retorted and said that her son can read what he wants and that she shouldn't have to force him to be a Christian. She starts getting red in the face and yelling at me about essentially forcing children to believe in God from a young age. Okay, so like this is where I can relate, okay? I come from like a religious background. You know, I was growing up Christian, like I still consider myself to be that. My viewpoints have definitely changed growing up, like actually reading the Bible for myself and reading things, making my own understanding out of things, you know. Like that's the thing, is like you don't have to blindly follow whatever your parents say. Eventually you gotta come up with your own meaning to life and your own understanding of what it all means, right? You're supposed to question things, not just blindly take it. You have to understand inside, because if it's gonna mean anything to you in life, you have to really truly know what it means inside, and you can only do that when you start examining things. So that's what I'm saying. And I used to have Yu-Gi-Oh cards, okay? I still own some. I don't know where they're at, but I'm not even joking. I'm not even trying to lie here. I had a stack of Yu-Gi-Oh cards this big. Sure, probably half of them were fake knockoffs that I bought from the dollar store because I didn't know any better. But I did have a big stack, and that's all I did. I played Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, all those kinds of things. And, you know, I had them for a long time. And literally one day, I went home. My mom buried my... I'm not even joking. Okay, you guys, if you've watched me for any amount of time, you've heard stories about like my mom and stories about my childhood. My mom literally buried my cards, and she said I couldn't have them because they were satanic. Probably because they said like words like monsters and things like that, or summoning, and because my mom came from like an old style like Christian home kind of thing. And I knew at the time that that was absolute bullcrap and ridiculous, and it's so funny. It's hilarious thinking about it now that like people really believe that you're gonna go to hell over some Yu-Gi-Oh cards or a Dungeons and Dragons. Like, it's just, if you think that way, I don't want to have any part of that religion. If that's what Christianity is, like I don't want to be a Christian. Like, I don't want to have anything to do with religion. So like the word religion is stupid to me. And when it comes to things like that, it's absolutely stupid. Like, you're that defensive where you can't even have fun, and you can't even have any fun in life. A card game just really is just so dangerous, you know? What makes me so mad about this is that her son is dying, and he can't even have something that actually makes him happy. This has got to be the worst one for sure. I state that I'm a Baptist, which I actually am, and say that faith in God is a matter between God and the individual. Exactly. That's honestly it. It's supposed to be a relationship, like a connection, like, you know, and it only comes from like really examining what it means, not just what your parents told you, because, you know, what your parents tell you, like, that means nothing. It's crap. It means absolutely nothing unless you actually understand what it means. She turns red all over and actively starts to try and destroy the books, with me, my friend, and her husband trying to stop her. At one point I shouted, "Would God want you to do this to restrict your dying son's freedom of expression?" Right in her face. She just basically blew up. She tosses the books aside and starts trying to strangle her son. Now if there's any demons here, it's definitely in her. And her husband calls security immediately, and when she does, security gets there within a minute of the two of us trying to pry him off of her son, or EM, yeah, whatever, and drag her away with her shouting that we're all catamites of, I don't even know what that means. Both her husband and her friend charge her with child abuse, assault, and attempted murder. Trials still going, and I'll try to update this post as trials goes on. Sorry, spit. Reminds me of my first grade teacher who thought I was a Satanist because I played Paper Mario 60. Italian plumbers, devil. Look, this is the reason why people don't want to have anything to do with Christianity or religion in general, because like you have to, like, it's so horrible to have to like always be wondering, oh, am I doing something bad? Am I doing something bad? Am I displeasing God? You think God gives a crap? If God is so almighty and powerful, you know, you think he gives a crap about Yu-Gi-Oh cards or Dungeons and Dragons? No, like that's little stuff. It doesn't matter. But yeah, over here, we're like, you know, making problems out of little things. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm done talking. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I enjoyed it. I felt like I got a lot out, and I really enjoyed watching, reacting to these. If you guys enjoyed it, please leave a like down below and let me know if you would like to see me react to more or other cool stuff you'd like to see me react to. I would appreciate it. And yeah, I don't know if I said it. Subscribe. Okay. All right. Love you, beautiful scrubs, and I'll see you in the next one. All right? Bye, guys.
What can I do to please you, mother? In this past episode, screw you. What can I do to please you, mother? And I think it's in the show. Yeah, dance while you can, because you won't be dancing very long. What can I do to please you, mother? In this last episode, screw you. I swear, dang TV has something to do with this. I'm a little bit tilted. I wasn't planning on it.